why it keeps saying that. Because I'm not. Not yet. Okay. Installing. Hi, Dragonskelt. See if I can get TikTok to load. It's the weekend, so it always has some sort of update it needs to do. Okay. You need to come back over here now. Thank you. You there. Ah, where'd you go? Okay. Having trouble this morning. All right, let's get it going. Okay. All right, let's get going. My gosh, thank you. Yeah, yeah, yeehaw. Yeah, yeah, yeehaw. My gosh. Thank you. My gosh, are we trying to knock out my gift gallery like that? What's happening? Chaos as a rat. Welcome in, Justin and Eli, my mods over there. Hi, Yami. Hi, Surgeon. How is everybody? Let's start doing all the good things. As you come in on YouTube, guys, if you can make sure you hit that thumbs up button for me, I would appreciate it. As you know, I hope you know by now, Twitch and YouTube, you don't get to hear the music, but that's how I get my day started, is with a lovely little song. And then we get going, okay? So let's do all the good things while we're sitting here. All right. Good morning, good afternoon to those of you on the East Coast. It's Monday. We're back, guys. We are back. So I appreciate you guys coming back for another week of the fuckery because it doesn't ever seem to end, does it? Okay. If you're watching over here on TikTok, please tap that screen. I would appreciate it. We like to hit 50,000 likes within the first hour that I am live. I've seen you guys hit 100,000 likes within that first hour, so I know you can do it. So let's get those fingers working. It's a new week. I'm back to make sure that your fingers are working for your partners. So do all of those good things, please. I would appreciate it very much. Remember, I'm helping you out. This is for you. It's not for me. This is for you and your partners, okay? Share out the live. You can repost it. You can add it to your story. You can share it to 5 of your friends. Do not spam the copy link button, but you can share it to 5 of your friends. If you have group chats, send it there. I would appreciate it. It does help push us onto the algorithm. So maybe we can have conversations, but more so that we get that viewership and keep things rocking here so that this continues, right? Do your daily heart me if you have not done so. Right next to my name, right up at the top, there should be a heart, and it should be golden because obviously you're following me. If it says follow, why aren't you following me? Make sure you're following me. And then you need to click that and do send your daily heart me. It gives you access to stickers in the chat that I have designed for you, that you guys have helped me design, and ideas we've all come up with together as a community. I appreciate it if you guys would do that. Thank you. And you guys knocked out the roses, you knocked out the ice cream, you knocked out the chilies. We are now on the finger hearts. Also, as you can see, Olive, Ari, thank you so much. Guys, if you click on my name right up there, it's going to pop up and it's going to say C5 Gift Gallery. It's going to be a little orange bar that says C5 Gift Gallery. Click on that. It is going to show you the things in my gift gallery that I need to get accomplished this week, okay? We got quite a few going. Steph, thank you, finishing off the roses, and Steph finished off the rosas as well. We had Olive with the finger hearts and the hat and mustaches, Ari with the swan. So what you would need to do is like, I need 10 donuts. That means you would need to send me all 10 donuts for that to work. So just like that, just like Olive just did. So if you have a chunk of change, I know that it gets expensive with those gifts. I totally understand it. But if you have a chunk of change sitting in your TikTok that you would like to spend, I would appreciate it if you spent it on me and my gift gallery. I would appreciate it a lot. So thank you so much. If you're watching over there on YouTube, guys, hi, hit that thumbs up button for me. It helps push us onto the algorithm. So again, maybe we can have conversations with people who choose to call in. Thank you, Kitty Cap. I would appreciate that as well. You can subscribe to me. You can become a member. That would be nice as well. Guys, you can send super chats over on YouTube in case the chat starts moving too fast and I don't get to your message and you really wanted me to read your message. You can go ahead and send a super chat. You can send Jules as well over there. If you're watching on Twitch, hello, my lovelies. You can follow me. You can subscribe. If you pay for Prime, Jeff Bezos gives you 1 free Prime sub a month. Why not use it for me? You can send bits over there. And if you subscribe, you also get access to emotes that are the same as the stickers over here on TikTok, guys. I have my 100 goal that I have every single day, guys. This is my job. This is what I do for a living. This is how I pay my bills. And yes, that means I have to report myself to the IRS, to the government. Love that. But this is my job and it is graciously paid by you. So if you guys could contribute to that, I would appreciate it. I have Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all in the link tree in my bio. You can find it there. Let's start working on getting that 100 down, okay? I would appreciate it. It's midterm Monday. Let's get started. Hi, Oya. Let's get started today. How many of you in here? 82 of you? I'll wait a little bit. No, it's fine. Actually, it was perfect. It was a perfect example of exactly how that works. So I think that worked better, actually. Tanner, shut up. Rockies are poised for a World Series run. Where? Unless we're beating teams again, because, like, we got our ass beat in that 3rd round with Chicago, but to be fair, we won the series against Chicago, so that's too bad for them. I know they were really, really mad. All right. Well, let's get started with midterm Monday stuff before we move on to the political stuff as we get going here, okay? Let's go for our election calendar so that we can let everybody know about elections coming up, okay? There is voting tomorrow. Ours is not technically until the 30th, so next week when you'll see me, but I filled out my ballot this weekend. Yeah, so now I just got to drop it off, but I have to get everybody else in the house to fill out their ballots, which is like, breathing down their necks to do so. I just have to sit them down and make them do it. It's a whole thing, but we're going to get it done. We're going to get those ballots dropped off from my entire household. But let's get started here with the election calendar, shall we? Florida tomorrow. So this is going to all be for the 23rd until we have a couple or a few on Saturday the 27th that we will get to, okay? Oh, you have something on Sunday too. I'm guessing some sort of convention. Yes. Convention. All right. Florida. Florida has local elections tomorrow. Maryland. If you're in Maryland, your statewide primary election is tomorrow if you have not voted already, because a lot of these states allow early voting. You could have dropped your ballot off already. But if you have not, tomorrow is the day. New York. New York, statewide primary tomorrow as well. New York, if you are in City Council District 3, you have a special primary in City Council District 3 in New York. If you're in Ohio, Whitehall, Ohio Mayor and City Council recall election tomorrow. South Carolina, you have your statewide primary runoff election tomorrow, so make sure you're paying attention to that. South Dakota, you have local elections tomorrow. Utah, statewide primary election, the entirety of Utah tomorrow, statewide primary. Louisiana, Baton Rouge special election. Louisiana East Baton Rouge County special election. In Louisiana, you have a statewide party primary runoff tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Hold on. Utah statewide primary election tomorrow. Excuse me. I messed up. Louisiana, this is Saturday. Okay, Louisiana, Saturday, you have your Baton Rouge special election on Saturday the 27th, and you have your East Baton Rouge County special election on Saturday as well. Louisiana, you have your statewide party primary runoff on Saturday. South Dakota Republican Party State Convention is on Saturday. If you're in South Dakota, you want to go to your Republican Party State Convention, it's on Saturday. Texas, Lubbock City Council District 4, special election for Lubbock City Council District 4 on June 27th, so on Saturday. And then Michigan Libertarian Party State Convention on that Sunday, the 28th. So if you're not paying attention to that, please do so. And then we get into next week where, here we go, that's going to be us. I'm so excited. All right. So parish. That's not what it says. It doesn't call it a parish. I don't know, Oya. They don't call it a parish, so that's what I gotta call it that, I guess. I'll put that here. Parish. It's a parish. I'm sorry. What in the world is this? Making me do math, but let's get W's, please. For oh me, oh my. Hold on, because I messed it up already, because I looked at it in a different way. Hold on. Now I gotta do that math. Why do you do this to me? Thank you to Oh Me Oh My for the 3233 on the Pal of the Pay. Thank you so much. That brings us down to one of our least favorite numbers, which we love so much. 6767. Why do you do this to me? Why do you do this to me? 6-7. But luckily for me, it doesn't have to stay that way, because thank you so much, Cassie, for the dollar train. Choo choo! Thank you so much for the dollar train. That brings us down to 6667. So thank you so much. I live in a house with children. You know, my children used to hate it. Now they find it funny. So I guess we've switched for that. All right. That is your elections, that news we have of the upcoming for this week. So make sure, again, that you're paying attention to things like that. It is very important. I filled out my ballot this weekend, and there were still people I had to look up. Obviously, there are people running unopposed in certain positions, but there were people running against each other that you have to look into. And that's what I had to do. Me and my brother had to look that up through Ballotpedia a lot of the times this weekend. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to remove this. We're going to put that back. Hold on. Okay. Go back to that so that we can get started today. Let me open those phone lines up. Guys, continue doing all of those good things, tapping, sharing, all of the great things. I would appreciate it as we keep going today. Chicky war cry. That's wild. All right. So, to nobody's shock, they signed the MOU on Friday, okay? And to no one's shock, over the weekend, shipping stalls in Strait of Hormuz after Iran declares key waterway closed again. Who could have seen that coming? Of course, CNBC is locked. I totally read it earlier. I hate when they do that. Hold on. Mama say, mama sa, mama kusa. That's what that song does. Gets stuck. Okay. Shipping through the Strait of Hormuz stalled over the weekend, according to maritime intelligence company Windward, after Iran announced it had again closed the world's most important oil choke point. The update comes even as industry trackers showed Iranian tankers continued to sail through the strait, a narrow waterway that typically handles around 20% of the world's oil traffic. There was a recovery in oil tanker traffic through the strait immediately after the U.S. and Iran signed a 14-point Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, last week, but the latest data shows this has already hit a snag. An analysis published by Windward found that a total of 12 ships transited the Strait of Hormuz on Sunday, down from more than 21 the previous day. 5 of 8 inbound vessels were said to be dark, which is when a ship disables its automatic identification system transponder to hide its location, identity, and destination. The current traffic profile, dark, sanctioned, Iranian-linked, resembling the late blockade baseline more than a functioning open strait, Windward said Sunday in a social media post. Trade intelligence firm Kpler said last week that at least 20 tankers transited the Strait of Hormuz on Thursday, reflecting the highest level of traffic since June 2nd. This was still far below pre-war levels when more than 100 ships transited the strait daily, including dozens of tankers. So, Iran had announced that they were closing the strait again. Tehran said, we're closing the strait again. Why? Well, because Israel is still bombing Lebanon and is still occupying Lebanon, which is strictly strictly goes against what was put forth in the MOU. Point 1 of the MOU. We went over the entire thing on Thursday. Point 1 in the MOU was that all parties, including Israel, will stop fighting. They will get out of Lebanon and stop bombing, and that did not happen. Didn't happen. So there's that. How do I want to do this? So, again, Israel causing issues. This was Vance in the press room. He was acting as press secretary since Caroline Leavitt is still on maternity leave, and talking about the fact that before Iran shut the strait down again, by the way. This is the MOU was signed. Yay. Israel had already come out and said, absolutely the fuck not. We're not going to be listening to this. So this is J.D. Vance going against Israel in that regard. Let me make sure. Good thing I checked. Okay.
To completion. Now, I saw the Axios report, that Netanyahu is fuming. That's not reflective of the conversations that I've had with him, but maybe he's saying something to somebody else that he's not saying to me. What I will say, and this does bother me, is that you've seen people within Bibi's cabinet who have come out and attacked the deal, and in some ways very personally attacked the President of the United States. And I guess my message to them would be twofold. Number one, Donald J. Trump is the only head of state in the entire world who is sympathetic to the nation of Israel at this moment in time. And he happens to be the head of state of the world's superpower. If I was in the cabinet of the Israeli government, I might not be attacking the only powerful ally that I have anywhere left in the entire world. And the second message I would give.
By the way, this is not isn't the first time he does this. I can't remember if I have the other clip where he talks about Israel in this. Okay. Put a little tinfoil on for just a second. And I've thought about this for a little while. Wouldn't it be interesting? I'm not saying it would be good. Guys, I got live visibility restricted, so can you please make sure that we are tapping that screen, because we are behind on our taps already. I don't know what's going on. I saw that you guys were not on it in Olive's. You damn sure will be on it in Mine's. I do not allow for that, so let's make sure that we are doing those things, please. Wouldn't it be interesting if I don't want it to happen. I do not want it to happen. But if they fucking piss Israel off enough that they are no longer our ally and we end up in war with Israel, I really don't want to see that happen. But the way J.D. Vance is talking, it's getting worse and worse.
Some of those cabinet members,
Caprello, it's always funny to me when you guys say things like that. You said, this chick is so obsessed with Trump, it's unbelievable. Who's the president of the United States of America? I mean, just in case I don't know.
I was about to ask if that was rhetorical. I mean,
My job, I'm a political commentator. As far as I know, being the president is a political position, and I talk about and critique the government. So, I'm actually talking about JD Vance right now. That's the funny part. You're saying I'm obsessed with Trump. I'm actually talking about JD Vance and JD Vance railing against the Israeli government right now. Okay.
He, to his credit, has not gone down this path.
I'm a biased pundit? Yeah, probably. Duh. I wouldn't say that I'm nonpartisan. That's stupid.
But to some of these cabinet members in Israel who are attacking the President of the United States, the other thing that I would say is that over the last 3 months, 2/3 of the defensive weapons that have protected your homeland have been built by American hands and paid for by American tax dollars. The problem for Israel is not Donald J. Trump. And anybody in Israel who
Now that's the thing, right? We've been talking about that for a long time, is that we send Israel a lot of money. We send them a lot of money and we don't directly pay for their universal health care and we don't directly pay for their universal education. However, the fact that we pay for so much of their defense and aid allows for them to pay for universal health care and universal education, something that we in the United States do not have ourselves. And so it is interesting that we have been saying this for a long time, and now they're on board, I guess. They're probably on board for a different reason, but here we are.
thinks their biggest problem is the President of the United States needs to wake up and smell the reality of the situation that country is in. Thank you all.
Sure. Shipbo says official. Plattner is what turned you red? Yeah, I'm sure that's what happened. I'm absolutely positive that's totally what happened. Okay. Continuing on in this portion of Iran, let's talk about, let me see if I have the other one. No, I don't. I kept that one. Well, let's go to this then. Trump did an interview with Axios, and he's asked specifically about Israel and Lebanon. Again, this is after the MOU has already been broken. We are functioning as if it's still intact because it's still, even then, I talked about this, the MOU was like an agreement to come up with an agreement, so they're pretending like it's still intact even though it was already broken.
If it weren't for Donald Trump, Israel would have been eviscerated.
Your relationship with Netanyahu.
Which again, why does he keep talking about himself in the third person? I have to talk about him, Caprello. He's the president. Why does he talk about himself in the third person? That's weird.
Israel would have been eviscerated.
Your relationship with Netanyahu.
It's good, but we have to keep him a little bit sane.
Are you going to be able to control Israel from attacking Lebanon?
Yeah, I will be. I mean,
How?
I wonder. They have a lot of respect for me, and
It's respect. Yeah. Apparently they don't have that much respect because they already were bombing Lebanon.
they do as I say.
They do as I say. That didn't work, did it? That didn't seem to work. No, it didn't. Okay. Glad we could establish that that means not shit. All right, let's keep going. This is again more from Vance when he was doing his job as press secretary, I guess, with all the hats that he wears. Remember, we talked about this on Thursday, that you guys have had to capitulate all of the things that you railed against me about when Pete Hegseth was saying things like, well, we just want to destroy their ballistic missile program because we obviously obliterated their nuclear program in Midnight Hammer, so now it's about the ballistic missiles. And Donald Trump came out at the G7 and said, well, no, they can keep some of them. It's fine. It's totally fine. They don't have as much as other people, and other people have them too. We went over all of that on Thursday, right? So again, here it is, this conversation about the fact that one of the core objectives of striking Iran, according to Pete Hegseth, according to Donald Trump, according to J.D. Vance, according to Marco Rubio, was to ensure that they did not have a ballistic missiles program, and they have been walking that back. Why?
President, just two questions for you. To follow up on an earlier question, Secretary Rubio said in March that the goal of this war was to, quote, to eliminate the threat of Iran's short-range ballistic missiles. You just said earlier that the military program is destroyed. U.S. intelligence estimates that Iran still retains roughly 70% of its pre-war ballistic and cruise missile stockpile. So when did the administration decide to abandon that part of the original mission? And then just second as well, moving forward, are you leading the U.S. team moving forward in terms of the negotiations? How involved will you be?
Yeah, so I'm certainly planning to lead the U.S. negotiating team. But on the first question, you talked about an intelligence report that was anonymously leaked to a reporter, that was not with context, and that frankly is not accurate.
Okay. I'm going to let him repeat that part real quick. Just focus on his words.
The U.S. negotiating team. But on the first question, you talked about an intelligence report that was anonymously leaked to a reporter, that was not with context, and that frankly is not accurate.
Okay. He said 3 different things about this intelligence report. He said, 1, it was leaked. Okay, that can be an issue, that it was leaked. It would still mean it came from our intelligence department, even if it was leaked, right? But okay, we can have an issue with that. That it was out of context. Okay, so let's add some context to it. That's fine. I can understand that, where he's coming on with the first 2 points. The issue I have is with the third one. Frankly, not accurate. Our intelligence report, our intelligence is not accurate. So we just can't trust the things coming out of the intelligence department from this administration.
What has changed about the Iranian ballistics missile program is it matters much less the number of missiles they have, the number of bullets. What matters much more is the number of launchers they have, and importantly, the teams on the ground that have the capacity to launch those missiles.
And again, the reporting that we are getting from our intelligence agencies and from the New York Times, getting those intelligence reports, is that we have not destroyed as much of their launching capabilities as the administration is saying we have. Again, our own intelligence, which he is now saying is frankly not accurate, has said this. So we are in this situation again where all that they want you to do is glaze their taint and pretzel yourselves to say, unless Vance and Trump say it, I can't believe it. Yes, it's coming from our own intelligence, who they appointed people to be in charge of, but we can't believe it because they didn't say it. When are you guys going to critically think and actually start questioning whether they're lying to you or not? Just question it. I'm not asking you to believe that they're lying to you. I'm asking you to question it. Why are the only people you can believe Trump, Vance, Hegseth, Rubio out of their own mouth when our intelligence disagrees with them?
Their ability to launch missiles has been substantially degraded. Is it zero? No, but it's substantially degraded. And in that sense, we haven't abandoned the mission. We've accomplished that particular part of the mission. If you look at the Gulf Arab allies, and obviously the Israelis, who faced a lot, the 2 of them together faced a brunt of these missile attacks, each of them feels substantially safer today from the Iranian missile threat than they did before. Obviously, that is something that we would like to continue. All the president said yesterday is that you can't expect any country to give up its right of self-defense. You have to have parity, and that's what the president of the United States was talking about.
Cool, but that's what we've been saying. That's what we've been saying. And you guys all called me an IRGC simp. You guys said I should move to Iran since I'm taking their side. That's what you guys all told me. When we said, don't they have a right to at least self-defense so that Israel leaves them the fuck alone? And you said no. Since you guys listen to everything they say, and only everything they say, they just said what I've been saying. I guess they are also IRGC simps now. Good for them.
That's also been a common thing we hear when people talk about the JCPOA and why it was such a bad deal, was because it didn't, bring attention to the ballistic missiles. But I guess,
Right? I have to type it in. Hold on. Wait. Wait, why? Hold on. Okay, wait. Side note, guys, just make sure we're still doing the good things, please.
Use those fingers. I told you guys you could have a rest with your fingers and use them here. So do the good things, do the betters. Also, again, if you guys hold down the screen, you can send it to people who are in your following list and who you follow and who you communicate with. That's at least 50 followers. That's not the copy link. That's legitimately you hold either Trump's nose, you can hold Monty's cute little photo, and you can share it out.
I hope that's what you
Oh my
want for
God.
me.
Um,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
No, that's it.
W's to Oya, please. W's to Oya for the $5. I appreciate it. Let me do the goal first, or I'll forget and leave it, guys. This brings us down to 61. You guys can send a $1 train, a $2 train, start getting that down. We have about an hour and a half left. And Oya sent that with this link that I just typed in old school, because I can't click it like that through my phone. And said that this is her war cry. Oh yeah.
That also sounds like when you take a large PVC pipe or like those stretchy and you spin it. It's the
Oh,
ooh.
I typed it out old school and then she sent it in Discord. My bad. I typed it out. It's fine. We got there, didn't we? I thought it was a Harley. No, it's a cassowary. One of the most dangerous birds on the planet. Because it's a dinosaur. A dinosaur. A dinosaur. All right. So then, again, Vance in this press conference says one of my favorite things that multiple people have said now, including Marco Rubio, which is that our goal here is to just get us back to where we were before Donald Trump did some dumb fuck shit.
You keep saying that Iran will only reap economic rewards if they comply and change their behavior. But under this deal, they are being allowed now to sell their oil freely. Again, how is that?
Which, by the way, I have for you. We have the paper now of us putting in waivers for their sanctions so that they can sell their oil. So even though we've hit a snag, they're still going to be able to make money. Woohoo!
Not a financial benefit, and they're being allowed to do that without making any new concrete nuclear commitments. So can you explain how is that not lopsided?
Well, first of all, they've made very concrete nuclear commitments. They have committed to the destruction of the highly enriched stockpile that they have in their possession.
Where? Where is that signed? Anywhere. Because it's not signed under the MOU. We went through all 14 points on Thursday. Where? Where's that signed? Huh? Lopsided. Hi, Mia.
But number two, all we've done is lift the blockade in the Straits of Hormuz. We basically returned it to where it was before the conflict.
Oh! Yay! We returned it to where it was before the conflict that we started with Israel. What do we get out of this? I'm waiting. Yeah, also that, Casey. What's the enforcements for those commitments again? Why did we attack them in the first place? What? Well, according to Marco Rubio, let's go back in time. According to Marco Rubio, we attacked them because Israel was going to attack them, regardless of what we said, because even though Donald Trump says that they respect him and they listen to the things he says and they will do the things he says, Israel decided they were going to attack them. And we were told that Iran would attack us because Israel attacked them, and so we needed to attack them too. That's what Marco Rubio said. Then they changed what that meant. But we're going to get us back to where we were before. Love that for us.
Enriched stockpile that they have in their possession. But number two, all we've done is lift the blockade in the Straits of Hormuz. We basically returned it to where it was before the conflict. The blockade is off. We put that in after the conflict started. The straits are now open. That's not a new benefit to the Iranians. They were selling oil for many, many years, well before we ever put the blockade. We opposed that blockade.
No, they did. They closed the strait, just like they've done again. They closed the strait, caused an issue for us, and to seem like we were strong, Trump came out and said we blockaded the blockade. Okay.
They stopped selling oil, and now we've lifted the blockade in order to promote the free flow of energy across the world.
Except it's closed again, but this was before that, so we'll just give him grace on that. It's okay, JD Vance. You didn't know yet. It's all right. You didn't know quite yet. So again, we saw where he said they made commitments about destroying enriched material. Again, that's not listed in there. This was, before we move on to more recent events with Vance, because again, Vance is now the fall guy on this. This is Chairman Roger Wicker. He is the chairman of the, He's the chairman of one of our committees. I think it's like one of our, it's not the Senate Arms Committee, I don't think, because that's Cotton, if I remember right. But this is his statement about the MOU. Again, this was before it was broken, before it hit a snag, whatever you want to call it. Quote, since day one, I have supported President Trump's efforts to end Iran's 47-year threat to the United States and our partners. I am concerned that the Memorandum of Understanding negotiates away the victories of Operation Epic Fury in ways that are completely out of step with the president's goals. Specifically, the $300 billion fund, that's 0.6, in case you haven't read it. That's 0.6. The $300 billion fund for the reconstruction and economic development of Iran, though not funded by U.S. taxpayers, that's true, would make Iran's payoff under President Obama's 2015 deal look like a pittance by comparison. I believe it would be an error to force Israel to stand down against Hezbollah, an Iranian-backed terrorist organization that continues to attack Israel on its northern border. I also oppose the U.S. lifting any sanctions on Iran, or unfreezing Iranian funds in exchange for Iran's mere agreement to negotiate for another 60 days. Because that's it. That's all it was. The MOU, all that it was is that we are going to agree to stop bombing, and we're going to come to the table and negotiate. Something we could have done a long time ago. Because they were at the table before Midnight Hammer, and then they came back to the table. And then Epic Fury, and they still came back to the table. Why'd we do this? I'm just waiting. Just wondering. The Iranian regime has not renounced its ultimate goal, death to America, death to Israel. The regime will invest every penny it receives to further that aim. President Trump has pursued peace through strength. I hope the intermediaries working on this deal are not undermining that objective. So, although he is unhappy with the deal, he is also a situation where he is a Republican similar to Lindsey Graham, similar to Marco Rubio, which is why I think he looks that way. Disney princess current events is crazy. It's just theater girl. I'm a theater girl. Is the fact that they are war hawks. They are neocon, dyed-in-the-wool war hawks. And so they want to keep this war going. I don't know why, because it's not giving us anything. They're going to be losing seats because of it. But, that's where we are. All right, before we move on, W's to Ryan for the $5. You said Pete Hegseth is now the Secretary of Surrender. Yes, he is. And if we remember the cabinet meeting he had where it said Seki of War, we said Seki of Surrender. He is now the Seki of Surrender. So thank you so much for that. Let me do the math on that first before I do something else, because then I know I'll forget. I know I will. And it's bad. It's bad for me. See? And then I deleted my... It's a Monday. And it's a Monday.
You guys need to get them fingers working, because there should be no reason why that flag came up recently. Guys, keep tapping, doing all the wonderful things. You're close to 50K. Again, holding down the screen, you can share it to at least 50 people. Get those shares up while we're here. Make sure you guys send your heart needs. What is your gift right now? I don't see it. Oh, it's the finger hearts. Guys, we only need 8 more. Do it. Do it now.
Let's see. Let me get this up here. W's to Oh Me, Oh My for the 1167. You said Twitch feels like the pharmacist counter between pickup and drop off, and I love it. You kind of are. You guys, I don't have to watch you that much. I do see that Devil Dog is over there. I'm sorry for that. Devil Dog can be there until he starts saying fuck shit, and then Devil Dog will disappear. That's just kind of the way that works, and he shows up again like a bad case of herpes. It's usually something that he likes to do, unfortunately for all of us here. And also, so W's to Ryan, W's to Oh Me, Oh My, and then if I could get my Cash App to load, please. W's to Christopher for the $20 for paying my content creator taxes. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you are tipping your content creators. I do appreciate it, guys. That brings us down to 25. You guys are doing so fucking fantastic. I never expect it on a Monday because I know times are hard. Times are hard anyway. But I guess, the crude oil went down, so I guess we're here now. So W's to you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate it very, very much. I am so sorry. Raina. Raina, anytime you donate to me, just do me a favor and just put in Raina in the message, but I apologize. I am so fucking sorry. I am sorry that I dead named you because Cash App did. So I want to see W's to Raina, please. W's to Reina for the $5. I appreciate it so very much. Patriots, shut up. Because I can apologize. It was the app, but because it was the app, I read it that way, and that's still not okay. So, Reina, I apologize, because you're always in here supporting. I see you commenting, I see you tapping, and I appreciate it. So, W's to you. All right, as we move on, as we keep going with Iran here, Vance went to Switzerland, right? He went to Switzerland to start having negotiations. I guess they're counting this as part of the 60-day negotiations. Let me see if I have that clip. Do I not? I might not have saved that one. Oh, no, I do. So they're all meeting up, and this is the leader of Qatar's negotiating team coming in to say hello. Let's see if it says hello to all the people he's supposed to say hello to. Sorry about the audio. You don't really need the audio, to be fair, so actually let me just, because you don't really need it to see. Okay, we say hello to him. Oh, okay. We say hello to him. Okay, that's good. Oh, a feeling that JD Vance knows very well, being picked last for dodgeball. Didn't get a hello. Yeah, the Qatar that gifted the 747, by the way. Yeah, that Qatar. Absolutely that Qatar. So, while Vance is in Switzerland, he talks about the fact that apparently they told the Iranians, hey guys, hey, don't talk bad. Don't talk bad about my president, because then it makes us really not want to do deals with you, because like we're so strong. We're really strong alpha men, and we're not snowflakes. We're not snowflakes at all. But I really don't want to do a deal with people when they talk bad. When they talk bad about my president, we don't like to do that. And so they warned them about trash talking, which is going to be an interesting thing because of what Donald Trump truthed.
What we told the Iranians yesterday is when you guys engage.
Yes, Adam, I'm very, very bitter because no man wants to fuck me. That's interesting because here I am, 15-year marriage down, 2 kids later. I have a man who wants to fuck me, and I have a line of both men and women wanting to join the harem. But yeah, sure. Adam's so bitter. Ooh.
What we told the Iranians yesterday is when you guys engage in what us millennials might call trash talk, you can't.
By the way, as a millennial, we didn't invent trash talk. That's not. Trash talk has always been a thing, but sure, millennials call it trash talk.
Millennials might call trash talk. You can't expect the President of the United States not to respond and not to correct the record. So when they say things that aren't true, the President is going to respond to it. I'm going to respond to it. Americans are going to respond to it. When they make threats that aren't rooted in reality, they have to accept that the President of the United States is actually going to set the record straight. That's all that happened. So yes, there was a little bit of threatening, there was a little bit of whining, but at the end of the day, the talks continued and we made great progress.
After we warned them not to trash talk. Well, let's talk about that trash talk, JD Vance, because this was what we heard. Again, this would have been literally a day or two. I want to say 2 days, if not a day, before Vance met with them in Switzerland, before he warned them about their trash talk. This is what Donald Trump told Fox News. Let's talk about trash talk.
President Trump tells Fox News he spoke with Iranian officials overnight and said, you close it and you won't have a country. He went on to tell these officials, you won't even make it back to your effing country. Now,
oh, so trash talk is bad, but threats of death that you won't make it back to your fucking country are fine. I'm so glad we have such an emotionally stable alpha man in charge of the highest office in the land. I'm so happy about that. Yeah, that was a threat. But, you know, trash talk will not be tolerated.
earlier today, Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian said this about Iranian enrichment of uranium. The president also reacting to that. Take a listen.
We will not give up our right to enrichment, and they, too, will be forced to accept it. You all know what the so-called President of the United States was saying. He had made a complete 100-degree turn.
we should not mix these two jokes and threats. Come on, Monty. What do you mean? Arturo, can you explain that better for me? What do you mean? I have to make jokes out of it because we live in a world where this is so unserious. People voted for this and people actively still support it. So, yep, Starmer did resign, you're right.
He was saying that Iran must surrender unconditionally. Iran has no right to do this, it has no right to do that.
President Trump, during our call, responded directly to those comments by Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian. President Trump told Fox News...
Oh, so that's how you say it. Masoud Pezeshkian. Masoud Pezeshkian. Okay. I just realized he said the name that we couldn't. We were both like,
we couldn't figure out at all.
He better watch his mouth, he better shape up, or we'll take over the rest of the country. And so clearly the president reacting directly to these comments from Iran's president, Masoud Pezeshkian.
What? I muddled jokes and threats as if they both mean the same thing? So you're saying, no. I'm talking about J.D. Vance is talking about the Iranians trash talking. Meanwhile, the president is actively engaging in threats. I didn't call those jokes. I didn't say that were jokes. I don't think that the Iranian people are joking. Maybe. Maybe they're joking about Trump. I don't know. But I think they're trash talking him because he's not strong. He's lost. This is a capitulation. He is losing this. Iran is gaining everything. And in response to that, Trump threatens them.
And also President Trump...
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Donald Trump, when he was at the G7 conference, he said himself that he would blame J.D. Vance if this deal failed.
Yep.
So, I don't know.
Talked about the broader memorandum of understanding, indicating this is just a ceasefire extension. This is not the final deal with the Iranian regime.
Correct.
And the president says he holds the cards and maintains a variety of options if the Iranians don't make these serious commitments at the negotiating table. He said, I have a 60-day option, and I can do whatever I want after that option. So again, President Trump leaving a variety of considerations on the table and says that the United States could become the guardian angel of the Strait of Hormuz and collect tolls itself while...
Yeah, also that. Donald Trump, I don't have that in the outline, but we can touch on it briefly, which is that Donald Trump is now floating the idea that after the 60-day period where Iran is not allowed to charge tolls, and they're saying they're not allowed to charge tolls ever, but that's not written anywhere, just the 60 days, that the U.S. themselves might start charging tolls. Welcome to your guys' new Forever War. Hope you enjoy it.
That makes...
Taking oil, around 20%, the president says.
Love that. Love that for us. That's great. Okay, guys, if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't hit that thumbs up button, please, I would appreciate it if you do. That would be great. So, we're working on a deal, right? Working on a deal. You have 60 days to work on a deal. We're meeting up here in Switzerland, but apparently J.D. Vance is not staying too long, so I don't know who's doing dealings with who and how long and who's staying. Most likely Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. Jared Kushner, who does not have an official position in the government. Yay!
Those technical negotiations are going to continue over the weeks and days to come. We wanted to set up a structure for that so that you could have proper political oversight, but obviously, as much as this place is very beautiful, I can't stay here for the next 60 days. I'm about to go back home to the United States, but the technical teams are going to be working with proper oversight to make sure.
Who are the technical teams? Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner? Who are the technical teams? Just a question. Arturo, you said you think bombs are just jokes. This admin has balls. Biden's admin could never. We lose 12 military men. No, we lost 14 men and women. What did Biden do? Sanctions? It's war. What did... No, Arturo, no. We had a deal, Arturo. We had the JCPOA. We had a deal. And Donald Trump tore it up. Why? Because Obama. And also because he wanted to impose, what's that word? Sanctions on them. So what did Donald Trump do? Just sanctions? He tore up a perfectly good deal to put sanctions on the country? That's interesting. We did not need to start this war, Arturo. What are we getting out of it? What are we getting out of it, Arturo? What? What are we going to get out of it? I'm actually not a democratic socialist, Mike Hunt. That's silly. No, I'm not. You don't know what socialism is, sweetie. Define it. The 13 dead in Afghanistan. Do you talk about the 63, Arturo? Did you check the 63 under Trump? Did you do that? Yes. It was terrible that we lost 13 people in the Afghanistan withdrawal. Yes. What happened at the airport was disgusting. Yes, Biden had a hand in that withdrawal, and that is terrible, and you can admonish and critique Biden for that all you want to. I have no problem doing that. However, I want you to hold the same standard to the 63 that we lost under Trump, and the fact that it was Trump's team that came out with the plan for the withdrawal, keeping the Afghan military out of that withdrawal deal and only dealing with the Taliban. Biden actually extended the date. We were supposed to be out in May, and Biden was able to push it to September because God knows what the disaster would have looked like if we stuck to May. And then Trump's team didn't even transition with Biden's team about what the fucking plan was. So I am fine with you critiquing Biden about the Afghanistan withdrawal. It's actually one of the only things that I sit here and I say both sides fucked up. Absolutely, both sides fucked that up. But I want to hear it on the same fucking side because you guys never talk about that, do you? Do you? That's what I thought.
That we're accomplishing the objectives that matter for everybody. Those technical negotiations are
cool. But again, I want to see who's going to be doing that. All right, as we keep going, now we have to twist it. Now we have to pretzel it to make it seem like this was something that was asked for by everybody else and not the U.S. Even though we saw in his speech for the G7, in his speech, that he said it would be bedlam because we are 4 weeks away from being out of reserves, and this would be bad, and the economy bad, and so this is why we had to get out. Donald Trump pretty much admitted that at his G7 speech. But of course, we have to try and flip this so that it doesn't look bad in the political spectrum for the midterms and upcoming presidential election, because God knows if Vance is going to run. Maybe. We'll find out. But we have to twist this to make this look better. So what we're going to do, we're going to say, we're not imposing this on them. They begged for this.
Have you spoken with Prime Minister Netanyahu during any of this process at all in the recent days?
Yeah, we were in constant contact with the Israelis yesterday, but also, of course, with the Saudis and the Emiratis and others in the region. We talked to the Lebanese yesterday as well, so we're constantly trying to keep our regional friends updated about this. This is not a deal that the United States is imposing on the region. This is a deal that the region has desperately asked the United States to put in place.
Oh, desperately. They desperately asked. Again, we went over the 14 points on Thursday. Where's the desperation? Because it seems like they're getting a hell of a lot and we're getting nothing.
Obviously, the headlines have been very focused about what's been going on between the United States and Iran, but this region has been a basket case for a very long time, and what the president has said...
Could it be some sort of Western influence that didn't help that region? Could it be that, J.D. Vance? No, it couldn't be that, right?
To do, again, lay the foundation, see if we can get to a permanent peace. If we can't, the President of the United States still has a lot of options to accomplish America's security objectives, but he has certainly committed us to this pathway for now, and we're going to keep on working and seeing what we can accomplish. And
have you spoken with Prime Minister Netanyahu during any of...
So again, apparently they were desperate, even though they're getting all of the winnings. They're reaping all of the benefits. But sure. Thank you, Raina. Corgi shaking butt shaking Corgi. So there have been rumors that Iran walked out only a couple hours after being there. And so this is J.D. Vance addressing whether Iran walked out or not.
Tell us what happened.
no, they didn't throw a wrench in the system. The thing with the
Arturo, you said, what source do I have? So here is a Reuters article. Here, let's see if Reuters will load, because Reuters has been making me paywall as well. Fact check, this is from May 17th of 2022. Fact check, U.S. forces did not experience 18 months without casualties in Afghanistan during Trump admin, contrary to his claims. Okay. social media users are sharing a video of former U.S. President Donald J. Trump where he claims that in an 18-month period during his leadership, there were no U.S. military deaths in Afghanistan. The video shows him speaking on May 4th, 2022. Apparently, they have a link that you can read. He said, "We didn't lose one American soldier. Not one." He continues, and just as I'm coming off the stage, I think they had a tragic event in Buffalo. Just as I'm coming off the stage, tragic event in Buffalo with numerous people being killed. In 18 months in Afghanistan, we lost nobody. The database provides, Reuters sought comment from the Department of Defense, and they pointed to the Defense Casualty Analysis System for Operation Freedom Sentinel database. The database provides data on U.S. military casualties in Afghanistan from 2015. Deaths were recorded every year since 2015, except for 2022. If Trump was referring to the period between February 2020 and August 2021, when he negotiated the withdrawal agreement, 15 deaths in total were recorded as hostile deaths in the database, with 2 in 2020 and 13 in 2021. That's the one we know about, right? Okay. Non-hostile pending deaths were also registered in this period. If Trump was referring to the last 18 months of his presidency between July 2019 and January 2021, there were 12 deaths recorded in the Defense Casualty Analysis System as hostile deaths in Afghanistan. Between 2017 and 2021, there were 45 hostile deaths and 63 total deaths, including non-hostile, during Trump's presidency. In 2017, there were 14 total deaths. In 2018, there were 15, 23 in 2019, and 2020, there were 11. Source given. You happy now? I don't say shit that I don't fucking mean. Okay.
Try and tell us what happened.
No, they didn't throw a wrench in the system. The thing with the Iranians, yes, they did threaten to walk out, or at least there were social media threats that they would walk out. But we were negotiating well past 1 a.m.
Arturo, you said, you were talking about Biden, Arturo. There's been 14, by the way, who have died in the Iran war. You brought up Biden and Afghanistan. I am not insane here. Your comment was talking about Biden and Afghanistan. What do you mean?
Yesterday, so they didn't walk out, and their technical team is still here in Bergenstock working with our technical team actually as we speak, though I imagine maybe some of them are taking a break to watch this news conference.
So, according to JD Vance, they didn't walk out, but we don't know. I'm not saying they did. I'm not saying he's lying about that. We just had reporting that they supposedly did. I just wanted to cover it. So, remember, this idea of unfreezing assets is written within the MOU. As far as we know, the U.S. has upwards of $25 billion worth of Iranian frozen assets. Part of the MOU is talking about coming up with a negotiation to release said frozen assets. Now, that idea apparently came from Jared Kushner. Again, Jared Kushner does not have an official job within the government. Why? Because he can't pass the background checks. He does not have an official job within the government, but apparently he came up with this idea. They decided they were going to implement it, and that I guess it's being distributed and used to buy our soybeans.
Jared Kushner actually came up with a very interesting solution with the Qataris, where basically, again, if there is any frozen Iranian assets that are unfrozen, then we have approval over that process. The Qataris have approval over that process, and then the money would actually go to buy American soy, American corn, and American wheat for the benefit of the Iranian people. And as much as I see some of the press misreporting on this, and of course, buttressed by what the Iranians are saying, or not all Iranians, I want to be clear, there are a lot of Iranians who are telling the truth about what happened yesterday, but you see some social media reporting that gets this wrong. But fundamentally, what Jared and the Qataris and the entire team here in Bergenstock accomplished is, to me, a classic Trump deal, where if Iranian assets are ever unfrozen, they're going to go to make American farmers richer and to feed the Iranian people. That's a
Again, what's the enforcement and oversight mechanism to ensure that why would we unfreeze assets then? Why would we unfreeze assets? Why wouldn't we just say we're going to subtract from your frozen assets and send you soybeans? Why wouldn't we just do that? And say that we are going to directly pay ourselves with your frozen assets instead of putting them in charge of it. Thank you, Peter.
Oh my God, I have crabs.
Peter always giving me crabs. Why? Why wouldn't we do that?
Feels like they're trying to like win the farmers back because of
Mhm.
what the damage they've done. They haven't waited until another president came in to bail them out like Biden did during his presidency. So maybe they're just like, oh, maybe this will be a good like olive branch to the farmers. Remember, vote for us in the midterms.
Yeah, just mention it. No, it's not going to actually happen. But they don't know that. They vote for us anyway. They're insulting you if you grew up as a farmer. Insulting your intelligence and your ability to critically think if you believe that any of this unfrozen asset money is going to be used by Iran to buy soybeans. That's silly. That was my whole thing, and you're correct. I didn't know about the 623 members. My apologies. Okay, Arturo. I'm not going to apologize for going hard on you. People pay for me to do that. Love you. Guys, as we're sitting here, it is 11 o'clock now. We are almost through with this Iran portion. Hopefully we can finish this off. But we have 2.5 left in my goal. Can we please make sure that we are getting that down? Dollar Train, $2 Train. All the links are in my bio. Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Let's work on that. I see that we are at 92,000 likes. We damn sure would be able, it's mountain time, like it. We damn sure should be able to get that to 100,000. So keep working on that, keep tapping. I appreciate all the support that you guys are giving me. And again, if you're watching on YouTube and you have not already, please hit that thumbs up. Guys over there on Twitch, I wish you had some sort of, something you could occupy your hands with over there, but I see you guys over there and I appreciate your support completely. So thank you, thank you. And again, yeah, one of the biggest pieces I think we missed in the video too is him saying a classic Trump deal. That's bad if you have any kind of precedence for what Donald Trump does in his deals. In business, in anything, they don't end well. They're usually not good, but sure.
Very, very good and very classic Trump deal that's great for our people, great for the people of Iran, and fundamentally, again, will contribute to this regional security architecture that we've built and that we're going to work very hard to ensure that it endures.
Oh, sure. I'll believe it when I see it. I will. I'll believe it when I see it. It would be nice. I didn't want us to be in war with Iran anymore. It would be great to be done. But they're incompetent, so they don't know how to do that. So, this is Chris Wright. He is the Secretary of Energy, and he is being asked on ABC, I believe. Again, a question I keep asking, because that's my biggest one that you guys said. They can't have self-defense. They can't have ballistic missiles. How did we go from they can't have ballistic missiles to they can?
And he seemed to be saying he didn't want to, he couldn't go further because the risks would have been even greater. But let me move to another thing. When he first engaged in this, when he first launched this war, he said that one of the key objectives, and this was repeated by Marco Rubio several times as well, was to obliterate Iran's missile program.
Lakin, you said if any other countries tried to do what we were trying to do to other countries, what the hell do you think would happen? In what way? Like what do you mean? Like bombing them specifically, or like the colonization that we do? Because that's, other countries do that too.
Take a listen.
We're going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated.
He's saying this.
If other countries have them, it's a little bit unfair for them not to have some. A ballistic missile is not the same.
You can have a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit of missiles. That's what we said, but sure.
Same thing as what we're talking about when we talk nuclear. But if Saudi Arabia and Qatar, and they all have some, I would say in relative proportion, I think it's okay.
So how did we go from saying that the objective of the war was to destroy their missile program to saying that they've got a right to have missiles? Why the change?
Well, look, I think it's a matter of degrees. We've probably degraded their ability to make missiles by 90%. That is a massive, I think you could call...
Chris Wright, I'm going to do what I do with everybody, which is objection source. Where are you getting the information that we have degraded their ability to produce ballistic missiles by 90%? I would like to see a source for that. Okay.
To make missiles by 90%. That is a massive, I think you could call that an obliteration of their missile-making industry. But the president recognizes if they become a normal nation and they become a
A normal nation. I don't know what that means.
citizen of the Gulf community, for them to have a modest amount of missiles, as he said, proportional to their neighbors, that's not an unreasonable end to aim for.
It's not. You're right, which is why we have been saying it from the very beginning. You're right. I'm so glad you guys came to the left. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you for your progress. You know, instead of conserving, you're progressing. I'm so proud of you.
But in the meantime, they have been just massively more armed than all their neighbors. They've spent all of their money and their earnings from their energy industry to arm themselves to the teeth. That has been degraded massively. But need it go to zero? No, it probably doesn't need to go to zero, is what the president's saying.
And I have to come up with new talking points to make sure I say exactly what the president says. It's so obvious. It's such a fucking cult. It is such a cult. Can I get huge W's to Anonymous? You can write W Anon, please, in the chat. I appreciate it. W Anon for knocking out the entire rest of my goal. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Guys, that gets our goal done. W's. Let's make sure that we are helping. I know I have heard some things about people needing help within the community lately. And I saw that you guys did not get anything done with olives this morning. So let's make sure that we are working on helping our community out. We are not done with this Iran section. I have a few more videos to show you. But since we are sitting here, there's 99 of you in here, which I had more in here earlier. But you're going to get yelled at a little bit. I'm sorry. We're gonna pause. We're going to pause Iran for a minute. I told you guys, and I'm so fucking serious, I told you guys from the beginning of the week last week that I would not be going live on Friday. Olive told you guys from the beginning of the week that we would not be going live on Friday. Why? Because Friday is Juneteenth. And although you should be supporting the wonderfully brilliant Black creators on this app every single day, Juneteenth is a very special day where we should have been not centering ourselves and we should have been supporting those creators. I specifically guided you guys to Mia, who went live during my time on Friday, and Blue, who went live later in the afternoon. Now, when I go live, I can hit upwards of about 170 people, especially on Fridays. Fridays are really good days. The highest I saw Mia get in viewers was about 41 people. Where the fuck were you all? Whose live were you in? Because there wasn't really anybody else live during that point except for a few white people. So we support the community and we support our Black brothers, sisters, and non-binary members. We support the community, right? We uplift their voices. That's what we do in this community. We're accomplices. We're allies. Until the day you have to prove it and show up. I'm very fucking frustrated with you all. I am blessed. I am blessed that you guys are willing to come onto my platform and you're willing to support me. I am so glad for the community that I have built up. But I expect you guys to do that job, especially when I told you all week and I told you on Thursday that that's where you needed to be and that's who you needed to be supporting, and I didn't see it. But there were white content creators who had upwards of 200 viewers that day. Okay, we see you. We know who's in there. When there's only 41 people in there, it's pretty easy to see who's in there. Just don't lie that you're supporting. Just don't say that. All right. Moving on. Chris Wright, once again, he kind of stumbles over himself because he is asked about the fact that if the MOU falls apart, are we still going to see a decline in oil prices, right? Right now we're seeing a decline. Why? Even though they said the Strait is closed. Why? Because it's a projection market off of the fact that the idea is that they're still doing a deal, they're still negotiating, and so they're just sitting there going, please, 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 please stay low. And so that's kind of what's going on with crude oil right now. I believe it was sitting at 73 when I looked before I started going live. So it is based off of that projection that it's going to stay, right? So Chris Wright is asked, but if the MOU falls apart, do you still predict that energy prices are going to go low? And he kind of stumbles a bit. Except I don't think he knows his head from his ass at this point because Donald Trump just keeps fucking everything up.
Continue to head down. Flows of oil and natural gas through the straits have already returned to normal, and they will continue that way, whatever happens with the negotiations with the Iranians. We've got growing American production, surging production in Venezuela. We've got cooperation with all the other energy producers of the world. So I think Americans can expect continued declines in energy prices.
But let me, the other question is what happens if it falls apart? You just said if it falls apart, we'll still see declining prices. But I want to play you something that President Trump said at the G7. He seems to have President Herbert Hoover on his mind. Take a listen.
The one president I did not want to be was the late, great Herbert Hoover. Rather than possibly going into a depression, rather than having your favorite president be Herbert Hoover, I was always the one I didn't want to be.
I mean, what he's saying there, and he has said a few different times, is that if we go back to a state of war with Iran, we face the risk of global depression. Is that not true?
Look, the president... No, I don't... Well, look, the president has been advised...
What was that?
Is that not true?
Look, the president... No, I don't... Well, look, the president has been advised all along, despite the media proclamations, that there was enormous risk to energy flows to engage the Iranians on their nuclear program in a military fashion. But he simply was unwilling to leave to his successor in nuclear-armed Iran. That's just, there's just no greater risk to energy prices, to the...
Sure, but the problem is, Chris, is that one, we already know that you're a big liar because you had to walk back the fact that you said ships had gotten through the strait when it was closed, and then you said, no, that was a staffer who wrote that, it was incorrect, whatever. So I can't really believe the words that come out of your mouth anyway, but no, because our intelligence never said that they had a nuclear weapon or that they were trying to get one, so...
economy of the world than a nuclear-armed Iran. He knew he was going to drive up energy prices in the short run. He had the courage to take the action anyway, to destroy their Air Force, their Navy, most of their nuclear program, and a lot of their...
Which, again, they didn't destroy because they were able to down an Apache helicopter! Like you... allegedly.
Their military industrial...
obliterated.
Yeah, obliterated it. It's gone. They have no military, except for Donald Trump said that we've obliterated their military, but we left their military mostly untouched. He said that all in the same interview. I don't understand why you listen to it anymore. I know, yeah, it must be difficult for you. I like how Iran treat their women. I like men who know how to spell sentences correctly.
Complex. I think to massive benefit to future generations. But he knew that was a risk to energy.
Right, Oya. We watched it. They testified in front of Congress. The entire intelligence division testified in Congress that they did not have nuclear powers.
Prices, we've paid the price with higher energy prices in the midterm. And then we have worked with our military focused on restoring flow with or without the Iranians to reduce their leverage and get to a good answer. But he knows the risk he's playing with. He took those chances, and the Americans win by it.
I don't think he does know that risk because they talked to him about the fact that, did your advisors tell you that they were going to close the strait? And he said something to the effect of no, but then Marco Rubio testified saying yes, that we did know that this was a path that they would take if we attacked them.
And he seemed to be saying he didn't want to, he couldn't go further because the risks would have been even greater. But let me...
But it's funny to watch you guys stumble over yourselves trying to figure this out. All right. And then one more clip with Trump and the Axios interview. Because, again, saying that, like, this MOU does not... Donald Trump truthed that the only thing he would accept from Iran is unconditional surrender. It does not seem that we got that with this MOU. But Donald Trump is going to play it off like, did we? I don't know. Did we? I don't know. I think we did. Maybe we didn't. I don't know. Because he can't give you a straight answer because he knows we're going to call him out on it.
World, by far. Who else could have done a blockade like that? I did a naval blockade where not one ship was able to get through. Some tried. They didn't,
So he claims.
didn't last very long.
And it certainly brought Iran to the table more than before. However, beginning a conflict, you had talked about you only wanted unconditional surrender. And
well,
the MOU doesn't look like unconditional surrender.
Well, it really probably is unconditional surrender.
It is?
I think so. World, by far.
Where? We read it. We read all 14 points. Where's the unconditional surrender? Oh, well, oh no. You know what? Actually, I take it back. He's right. The MOU is unconditional surrender by the United States of America. We unconditionally surrendered to give Iran everything that they wanted. That is exactly what happened. Tulsi is a major in there. Is she? Was she a major in the army? She was the DNI was, because she's leaving, but yes. That was the congressional hearing we watched. Tulsi Gabbard was there. You had, I don't know his rank, but Ratcliffe was there as well. A couple other people. All right. So I just want to show one thing of incompetence before I show you the letter that waives the sanctions. And that is this. So this, okay, we'll get closer in a minute. Hold on. This is an incredible photo. The Prime Minister of Qatar, that's him, Qatar, a country Trump called a funder of terrorism in 2017, later gave him a $400 million luxury jet and allowed the Trump organization to build luxury real estate projects there, is now sitting with Vice President of the United States in Switzerland, according to Republicans Against Trump, helping shape Trump administration policy in the Middle East. I don't know what he's showing him. That's not what's interesting to me. Ratliff is colonel, I think. Thank you, Oya. That's not what's interesting to me. What's interesting to me is this. Let's see if I can get it. You guys see that? That's what's called a CAC. Does that look like JD Vance to you? Anybody?
No, that kind of looks like a woman. I could be wrong though.
There are
Is it a
closer
woman?
images of it, yes.
Hmm.
Whose CAC is that?
They found a random one.
The one and only CAC, CAC. It's a CAC card, but card's already in the... It's a common access card. That's why I didn't want to say CAC card, because then I'm saying common access card.
Yeah, ATM machine too.
I can't scroll in any, because unfortunately when I do this, it doesn't let me zoom in, unfortunately.
So they stole someone's tap.
Or they're using someone's. Let's see if I can find a closer image. There it is. There's a good one. Who's that? Just, again, incompetence. Why are we using somebody else's cat? And what are you showing him on that laptop? I don't know. Who is that? I don't know. It's not JD Vance. Well, I mean, maybe.
We never know.
I won't say it's not. Maybe it is. Okay. Last thing on Iran is going to be this. This is the official letter from the Department of the Treasury. We saw something similar to this when they relieved the sanctions on Russia. J. Lee Vance. Mia. It's the girl on the couch. I hate that. So this is authorizing the production, delivery, and sale of crude oil, petrochemical products, and petroleum products of Iranian origin through August 21st of 2026. So this is all of the sanctions that we've imposed. This is a waiver for said sanctions. Bradley T. Smith, the Director, Office of Foreign Assets Control, signed it for the Department of the Treasury. So now Iran is going to be able to sell their oil full price, no restrictions. So yes, maybe Donald Trump was correct. Maybe. It wasn't unconditional. It was unconditional surrender for the United States. It's great for us. We love that. All right. It's 11:20, guys. We are at 117,000 likes. Thank you guys so much for hitting 100,000 likes. I appreciate it so very much over here on TikTok. Let's work our way to getting to 150,000, please. 150. I know that we can do it. I believe in you. So thank you guys for the tapping and the support. I appreciate it, guys. If you're watching on YouTube and haven't hit that thumbs up, please do so as well. I would appreciate it so much. All right. Let's get to some fraud, waste, and abuse shit, okay? Unfortunately, we have to keep talking about this goddamn reflecting pool, lake, body of water.
Just 2 weeks after President Trump completed his more than $16 million renovation of the iconic reflecting pool, he now says it will need to be drained and repaired immediately. Last week, pieces of that new coating that the president applied to describe as an American flag blue color began peeling off. Trump now claims that vandalism is to blame, but he's provided no evidence to prove it. At least one person has been arrested, former Olympic.
Arturo, you're saying Iran doesn't touch any cash. We bring in help, not piles of cash people. That is not what the MOU says, Arturo. Arturo, the MOU, point number 6, says that the U.S. and the UN and the other Gulf nations will help fund and not with U.S. taxpayer dollars, but that we will help to fundraise basically $300 billion for the reconstruction of Iran. That's what it says. You think that's going to come in aid? Or do you think that's going to come in cash? Or money? Or opening up assets? Where's that going to come from?
Canoeist David Hearn tells ABC News that he was cycling near the pool and touched a loose piece of the coating, but did not rip, tear, break, destroy, or harm any part of it.
Now, remember, we talked about this on Thursday. There is now conspiracy that the president himself has latched onto, saying that what is going on with the reflecting pool is vandalism. Again, there are cameras on this area 24 hours a day. If there was vandalism, I would love to see it. Donald Trump is claiming that somebody cut a huge gash in it and that they're purposefully creating algae. I don't even know how you do that. But this is the conspiracy, is that somebody is messing with the reflecting pool, and not that he spent $13 million taxpayer dollars to a cartoon Hanna-Barbera, thank you, Sunkiss, because that is exactly what he looks like, a Hanna-Barbera looking villain, okay? Whose company's name is Green Water Solutions. I kid you not. And when everybody showed me this photo, I actually don't have it, but when everybody showed me this photo first, what was funny to me is because I'm a huge Bravo head. I liked watching all the stupid housewives shows and all that bullshit. The first thing I recognize is the person he's standing next to is a woman named Kelly Dodd, D-O-D-D, Kelly Dodd, who is, been MAGA for years and left the OC, God, 6 years ago, something like that now. So I wasn't shocked by this at all. But again, $13 million in a no contract bid, but it's vandalism. Right. Yeah, the pool did have algae before the renovation, because pools have algae, and if you don't have expand, yeah.
Yeah. His name is John.
Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt?
No, it's John J. Hold on. Shit, if I could spell, that'd be great.
Southern Charm is the best Bravo show. It used to be.
I forget about Bravo a lot. Hold on. John J. Cafaro? John J. Cafaro.
Yeah, John J. Cafaro.
I just remember when Blue sent this photo. I'm just like, yeah, that. Mm-hmm.
He looks like he would have played John Gotti in a Lifetime movie.
Yeah.
Or that he likes to tie women to train tracks. Kind of thing. And
Probably both. I feel like he wears a monocle when he's off duty.
I think so. Oya, did you mean to be in the request? Because I know I got yelled at for not kicking you earlier. Because sometimes I don't see the request when I have the gifting thing up. You go with the train tracks? Yeah, Bill.
First of all, that man looks like the fat ass Pringle man. He looks like the base model for every villain in the Batman universe. And secondly, he looks like that weird dude from Nickelodeon's dad that likes feet.
Dan Schneider?
Dan Schneider.
Yes.
The director, creator of all these fucking shows. Yeah, kind of does. Kind of right. Oh, God. Arturo, were you not here on Thursday? Because you might need to go back to Thursday. You might need to go back. Since you don't, let's go back. Was it Thursday that we did that? Yes, it was. Arturo, which point of the 14, okay, brings foreign and domestic interests back to Iran, not, you keep saying pikes, I'm guessing you mean piles of cash. Which point says that? Here's point number 6. The United States of America undertakes with regional partners to develop a definitive, mutually agreed plan with at least US $300 billion for the reconstruction and economic development of the Islamic Republic of Iran. The mechanism for the implementation of this plan will be finalized as part of final deal within 60 days. All required licenses, waivers, and permissions needed for the relevant financial transactions will be granted by the United States of America. Okay. The United States of America undertakes to terminate all types of sanctions, we did that today, against the Islamic Republic of Iran, including the United Nations Security Council resolutions, IAEA Board of Governors resolutions, and all unilateral U.S. sanctions, primary and secondary, and agreed upon schedule as part of the final deal. Apparently that schedule was all of them today. I didn't say we're giving piles of cash. I am saying we are in an agreement to raise $300 billion for them. You're fine, Oya. I didn't say that. I said it's unconditional on our part. What are we, the reason I said that, Arturo, is I'm asking you what we're getting out of this deal. What are we getting out of it? That's what I'm asking you, Arturo. What are we getting out of it? My stomach. Terminations of sanctions. Waivers for export of Iranian crude. The United States of America undertakes to make fully available for use the frozen or restricted funds and assets of the Islamic Republic of Iran upon the implementation of this MOU. The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran will mutually agree on the procedures related to the release of these funds during the negotiations. Such funds, whether retained in the original account or transferred, shall be made fully usable for payment to any ultimate beneficiary designated by the Central Bank of the Islamic Republic of Iran. The United States of America undertakes to issue all necessary licenses and authorization accordingly. Just read it, Arturo. It's there for you. I have it in my live outline. I know that you're not in my Discord, but I have it in my live outline. I bring it up. Anyway, back to the reflecting pool.
This taxpayer-funded renovation has been plagued with issues. Within days of reopening this month, the pool's color went from blue to an algae-clouded green. Work crews have been combating the algae with vacuum pumps and strainers, even pouring hydrogen peroxide directly into the water.
Which, again, we talked about. Hydrogen peroxide in a high concentration can strip paint. As far as we knew, it looked like paint rollers that they used on the bottom of the pool. So maybe it's not vandalism, maybe it's just peeling because of people pouring gallons of hydrogen peroxide into it.
Company that applied the coating says...
Cap, according to Tehran, it's closed, but there's also ships still getting through, so it's not as locked down as it was. We don't know. It's a mess right now. It's kind of a clusterfuck.
It identified some areas of the pool that require repairs and confirmed that it will need to be drained. That company, along with a water purification business that's owned by a longtime donor to President Trump, bypassed the traditional bidding process that's typically used to do work on national parks, guys.
All right. So that's what's happening there. Actually, let me... I don't have it, so let me show you guys. This was what they tried to do to fix the algae bloom that was going on. That is them. The workers for the interior pouring gallons, gallons hydrogen peroxide into the reflecting pool. 12% hydrogen peroxide. Like somebody else said, it's highly acidic. That can peel paint. And unfortunately, what that's leading to is not only is paint peeling, and now we have National Guard services surrounding the reflecting pool, supposedly arresting people, but also not, because there's really no explicit law. You could get charged with like vandalism, but you would have to prove that. But they're saying you can't even touch the water, and there's no explicit law that says that. So I don't know where that's going. But what I want to show you, and I'm going to give a trigger warning for anybody who has a heart. I'm going to show you a picture of the many that we have, but I'm just going to show you one of what Harry Conway is talking about. What a lot of us have seen this weekend is that baby duckies are dying in this pool now. Okay? So I'm going to show you a picture of that really quick. If you need to close your eyes or look away for just a minute, I will tell you when it is no longer on the screen. It's going to be on the screen right now. And this is just one of multiple pictures that we have of baby ducks dying. But remember, windmills are bad. Windmills are killing the whales, but they're also killing the birds. The windmills are killing the birds, but we're killing baby duckies by pouring gallons of 12% hydrogen peroxide. Okay, the image is no longer on the screen, friends. There is no more image on the screen of baby duck. Okay. Just for those who didn't want to see it, you didn't need to. Okay, and maybe don't look at my live outline today, because that will show up when I post it.
Could DC technically sue Trump for that?
They're probably like conservation groups that can.
Okay.
Most likely. So again, let's get into the deluded mind of our president and his truth, another truth in regards to the pool. Of the many statues and fountains that we rebuilt, renovated, cleaned, and fixed, the only one that was vandalized was the reflecting pool, again proof, which is being taken care of ASAP. It has been given a 300-foot-long gash. Chemicals have been illegally placed in the water. Where's his proof of this? Where's the court case? I'm waiting. If I think peroxide diluted in that much water is going to kill a duck, you don't deserve to vote. It was all day. Are you okay? And it wasn't just them. There were people on the other side pouring it too. We saw it because when they panned away, you could see the algae still in the middle, but the blue around all the corners where they poured it. You really think that 12% didn't do any kind of damage? Then what did, okay, fine, okay. What did the ducks die from? Why are there just dead ducks in the water now? It was not one. It was not just one. Can you... what did he say? I'm using this as a LinkedIn... What? He said I'm using this as a LinkedIn profile picture.
What the fuck? What does that mean?
His resume, I guess?
Maybe. That's fucking weird.
That's weird. I didn't hear him say that the first time.
That's a new one.
And the beautiful new grass field has been destroyed with a gigantic 8647 chemically carved into it, probably inspired by dirty cop James Comey. Yeah, probably. Please remember that there is a 10-year prison sentence for the destruction or even the attempted destruction of such things, which will be fully enforced. By the way, from what we're seeing, it's actually more of a slap on the wrist than the actual 10 years. But sure, that's what happened. Let me see. It's just interesting that you guys are like, that you're fine with this. I don't understand it at all. Why isn't one duck enough for you? How many dead ducks do you need to see? So what's killing them? I'm waiting. You said I don't deserve to vote if I think that hydrogen peroxide did that. So Rob Goose, where'd you go, Rob Goose? Did you leave? What's killing the ducks? All right. In our last little bit of waste, fraud, and abuse, we have from court cases. Again, the plaintiffs in the Kennedy Center renaming case ask the judge to order Trump to explain what the tarp/scaffolding is about, willfully sabotaging the Kennedy Center's iconic facade to assuage defendants' vanity or massage broken egos is a clear breach of fiduciary duty. And that you can see right here. In the actual court case filed 6/19. And of course, as always, thank you so much, hyperlinked the 14 pages of them trying to figure out why. The defendant's statement says, as a filing, undersigned counsel understands that center management intends to compile materials for a board vote on multiple options for completing necessary capital repair and construction and fulfilling the board's statutory and fiduciary duties under the law. Why can't you just patch the holes and remove the tarp? Could it be because of his ego, maybe? When they need a threshold for death, yet not, but not for people, just for duckies. Interesting. All right, we got about a little less than half an hour, guys. Keep tapping. You are doing fantastic. Thank you for the 125,000 likes. I appreciate it. As you can see, once again, another day of not getting callers because they have no factual evidence that I will ask them to source. Behind them, they just have a lot of feelings. Okay? Okay. So, let's, go to Donald Trump losing his mind. You guys say that I talk about Donald Trump. Well, let's talk about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is having issues. Donald Trump Donald Trump put a Congressional Medal of Honor onto his soldier. He couldn't figure out how to get it on, so he tied it onto him, which is interesting. I'm sure we've all seen that video, but I would rather show you that video accompanied by this one. Because we like sports here, because this is America. America, we like sports and timed things. So let's time some shit. Goal for Joe Biden! Donald Trump's still going. Music is entirely too loud for my taste. Now, granted, he did get it quicker than this, but he tied it, and he didn't need to tie it. There's no reason for that.
For some reason, it just reminds me of like a bra strap, the way they're doing it.
Dude.
Like, you know what I mean? Like the claps.
Yeah, when a guy's trying to get your bra off and
yeah, that's what that reminded me of.
You're like, God, stop. Why? But you know what? That was just kind of for the funnies. This one, I think, gets worse. This was a truth that he did. Is this yesterday? The day before that? I can't remember. It was a weekend, so I didn't care much. But he truthed this. Great daughter, my honor, President DJT. With this woman. Definitely not any of his daughters. Not Ivana. Who is that? Well, that's what we all wanted to figure out. So, the best that I could find is it looks like it's a woman by the name of Margot Katsamatidis. Okay. Specifically, what we saw, right? This looks like Camp David. Okay. We had to do some sleuthing this weekend. This looks like Camp David. And the blanket says, of the state Arkansas. So it's probably the Camp David during the Clinton administration. Now, so what I did is I was finding information on her. She is a donor, billionaire, philanthropist. So what I found in the philanthropy part of it was specifically about her helping to pay for a chapel at Camp David. She helped to fund a chapel being built at Camp David. But again, great daughter. She's not his daughter. She has a daughter. Do we want to talk about that? Is he talking about her daughter? Your president is insane. Maybe he needs to ace a 5th cognitive test. I'm just looking for MAGA to tell me what this means, because apparently you guys are his translators. You guys have the secret decoder ring, and it's not telling me to drink my Ovaltine. So what the fuck is this truth about? No. No. Okay. I didn't think so. I just, I thought I'd ask. Didn't think you guys knew either. None of us do. Okay. And then in his Axios interview, he does some Russian simping again. Shoot your eye out, kid.
But with the G7, I've seen G7s. I've been to a lot of G7s, and used to be G8s.
Now, why was it G8s? Does the number have any relevant significance? Does anybody know?
Isn't it depending how many countries are invited to it or how many countries participate in it?
Yeah. Which one was the 8th country?
Was it Russia?
It was Russia.
They should have kept the G8. You probably wouldn't have the war with Russia and Ukraine if they did, but
Now, listen to this part specifically.
they should have kept the G8. You probably wouldn't have the war with Russia and Ukraine if they did, but
When was Russia kicked out of the G8? After they annexed in Crimea and Ukraine. After they started their fuck shit, they got kicked out. Oh my God. But simp for Russia, it's fine.
Obama didn't want Putin there. I guess one or two other.
Yeah, because he annexed Crimea, which is in the Ukraine. He invaded Crimea. So he was removed from the G8 and sanctioned.
Was also, but they wanted Putin out. It used to be the G8. Would have been much better if they kept it that way.
Why? Why would it have been better if Russia was still involved? Why? What's his name? Like Agent Krasnov or something is what they say his name is, because he's a Russian agent, according to them. But Russia! All right, last video I have on Trump here, and again, just waiting. He has a cold for the past 2 weeks. Listen, Gary, I need the cold to
That was my first thing. Like, how long is he going to be sick for?
Too long.
Yeah, I don't know. Every time I hear him, I'm like, just blow your nose or something.
Look, we lost Alan Greenspan today, so the witches are getting closer, but we're not close enough. Okay?
I mean, yeah.
We're waiting for the Reaper to clock in. Jesus. So this one actually should be probably the most frightening thing he says. He's going to be asked about what this war taught him in way of power constraints and exercising the limits of power. And his answer should be disturbing to anyone, because any president who answers this way, it should be disturbing.
What have you learned about not just the exercise of power, but the limits on your power as a result of the conflict?
There are no limits.
No limits.
No, not. I haven't learned that lesson yet. I know there are, but there are no limits.
What have you?
There's no limits. No limits on his use of power. I'm glad that he learned a lesson from this botched ass war. Good for him. Is that your man? And you're sticking by him? You guys got really quiet in there. I see some things going on, some internal fighting happening, but that's a different story. So, I'm going to see if I can get to this. It's going to be difficult with TikTok. but I'm going to see how much of this I can get to. With 15 minutes left, I'm going to try, okay? Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard. So we're not going to watch this whole thing. But Tulsi Gabbard came out with a video on her final day as the Director of National Intelligence, coming after Anthony Fauci. Anthony Fauci, again, who worked under Trump's first administration.
Before the COVID pandemic, Dr. Fauci, as head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, provided millions in U.S. taxpayer dollars to fund dangerous gain-of-function research on bat coronaviruses at the Wuhan Institute of Virology.
By the way, money allocated by Congress.
Which is now widely viewed as the source of the unintentional lab leak that sparked the pandemic.
Also, not necessarily. We do have evidence that it possibly could have been that, and more than likely could have been that, but we don't have concrete evidence that that's the case. We don't know that for sure.
Now, in support of President Trump's maximum transparency mandate, today, on my final day as Director of National Intelligence, I'm releasing never-before-seen communications and documents that expose exactly how Fauci worked with politicized career leadership in the intelligence community to suppress the truth about his actions, the virus's lab leak origins, and his role in directing U.S. funding for this dangerous research.
Show me where it's dangerous. I can't find where it's dangerous. But again, there is 5 minutes worth of this. We're not going to watch it. I will have it on my outline in case you would like to watch her lies. I'm not going to put it on here because TikTok doesn't like that. So we will do that. But it's interesting to me because in another fantastic piece of work, Washington Post. It does look like AI, but it's her Twitter. That is her Twitter page. I took it directly from her Twitter page. Tulsi Gabbard, her guru, and the mysterious messages that helped shape her political career. Let's talk about that. The first time I spoke with Rebecca Salzberg, she told me Tulsi Gabbard was a free thinker who took orders from no one. I didn't always agree with Tulsi on everything. Salzberg, who worked on digital strategy for several of Gabbard's congressional campaigns, said in November 2024, but as for the core of her life and political path, I can vouch 100% that is her own. Salzberg had heard I'd been asking people about Chris Butler, the eccentric religious leader Gabbard once described as her guru. We've talked about this before. Tulsi Gabbard was admittedly in a cult. Gabbard grew up in Butler's breakaway Hare Krishna group. Her parents held senior positions in the organization. Salzberg said that she herself had been a member since moving to Hawaii with a college friend in the 1990s. Butler's followers practice a form of Hinduism that involves devotion to a single deity, in their case Krishna, and certain expectations around meditation, yoga, and diet. Some former members, however, have called the group a cult and said disciples were isolated from the outside world, characterizations the group has denied. Former devotees had been telling me for weeks that Butler controlled his followers' major life decisions and demanded total obedience and secrecy, like most cults, like MAGA! They said he spent years working to extend his reach into politics, and they suspected Gabbard's rise in Washington was the culmination of that effort. Now that Gabbard, a former Democratic congresswoman, had been picked by President-elect Donald Trump to be Director of National Intelligence, I wanted to understand just how much influence did Butler have on her. Am I one of those that doubled down on Biden being sharp as attack? No. Doom scroll, I don't know who you're talking about. Do I think he was sharp? Yes. Do I think he had a terrible debate? Yeah, absolutely. Did he lose his way because he's an old man and lost his way in the conversation and said we defeated Medicaid? Yeah, that was terrible. But he definitely still was able to do the job, as we saw with the legislation that was passed under him and in the legislation he signed. And again, Biden isn't president, so...
What about Biden?
Let it go. We're talking about Tulsi Gabbard now. Okay. Not much, Salzberg told me in that first conversation. She also played down the importance of Butler's organization, the Science of Identity Foundation. I don't even really see it as a real group, she said. 9 months later, Salzberg, then 53, got back in touch. This time, she had a different story to tell. She didn't want to say much on a regular phone line, so we switched to an encrypted messaging app. Salzberg told me she had worked for Butler as a secretary in the 1990s and lived for a time with Gabbard's parents and other devotees in a rented property. She said that she had recently fallen out with the leaders of SI SIF who she believed were mishandling allegations of physical and sexual abuse by some members of the organization. A few months earlier, she said she had been arrested for briefly housing a teenage runaway who alleged abuse by a parent associated with the group. Salzberg claimed SIF members had engineered her arrest. It all seemed a little conspiratorial and hard to follow, and I was deep into another story, but there was a minor mystery that had been nagging at me since I had looked into SIF the previous year, a name I'd stumbled on deep with some records. One question I wrote to Salzberg last September: do you know what 9 Aisles is? Her answer surprised me, and it sent me on a nearly year-long quest to better understand Gabbard, who left office last week. Who told me to get a job to somebody? So the AutoPen. Doom scroll, what is the AutoPen? We'll stop. It's fine. I have time. We can always get to this tomorrow if we don't finish. Doom scroll, what is the AutoPen? Can you tell me? Do you have images of Biden falling asleep at cabinet meetings or political events or the 250th celebration or Memorial Day? Chat GPT it. Absolutely the fuck not, Doom scroll. No, thank you. You have you have video of Biden falling asleep. Can you put the title of that in the chat so I can find it? I'm not chat GPTing shit. Chat GPT sources Facebook and Reddit. Absolutely not. No, thank you. Anyway, back to real reporting and real investigative journalism and not Doom scroll's fufus in his tum-tum. Salzberg told me 9aisles.com was an email domain used by Butler's office, one reserved for his secretaries and select disciples. She said she herself had received emails from 9 Aisles addresses when she worked on Gabbard's campaigns. She thought she had deleted most of them, she said. But when Salzberg logged into an old Gmail account, she found hundreds of emails from her SIF days, many from 9 Aisles accounts. She shared some with me. Their content was extraordinary. Dozens of attached memos appeared to document directives and advice for Gabbard from her time in Congress. Some contained instructions on what legislation she would propose, which policies she would embrace, and how she would conduct herself on television. They had an air of authority. A memo about a proposal to partition war-torn Iraq into 3 states quoted an unnamed person as saying it was, quote, time for TG to come up with this idea. TG being Tulsi Gabbard. So, Doom scroll, it's interesting to me that the Google is free and you cannot tell me what the AutoPen is and what it does. It's interesting to me. I know what it is. I'm asking if you know because you brought up AutoPen. I'm testing your logic. You're failing at that. Some of the language was harshly critical. One memo I found from January 2015 contained a derisive assessment of a statement Gabbard was to give in response to President Barack Obama's annual address to Congress. Quote, in the first place, nobody gives a shit what you think about his State of the Union speech unless you're going to say something of interest, the memo quoted someone as saying. You're not even trying, you're becoming really intellectually lazy. In another, Gabbard was described as chicken shit and mealy-mouthed for her comments on a policy proposal. I noticed that Gabbard, for the most part, was not listed as a recipient of these emails, though many went to people around her, including her parents. The attached memos appeared to be transcripts, often fragmentary, of spoken remarks or conversations. Some of the memos had files that included call with TG and attributed remarks to Gabbard, while in others the spoken remarks referred to Gabbard in third person. But the main speaker in each memo, the person who appeared to be issuing directives and sometimes castigating Gabbard, wasn't named. There was simply no attribution or mention of who they were. So again, his investigation is into the fact that her record seems to align with these memos, with these emails from the cult that she was a part of. She was lobbied by her own cult to vote in the way that she did. When I asked Salzberg about this, she seemed amused. It was Butler, of course, she said. No one else could speak to Gabbard like that, she added. Salzberg said the memos were unattributed precisely to mask Butler's identity if they ever became public, much like any good cult leader would do. Salzberg kept searching her email and social media accounts and sending documents. Eventually, the files she shared ran to more than 25,000 pages, including hundreds of memos, reflecting guidance for Gabbard between 2011 and 2017, most from her first 2 terms in Congress. In the months to come, the documents revealed that some of the same SIF members who received the memos were involved in a separate effort that used fake social media accounts to boost and defend Gabbard online. None of this, however, would turn out to be straightforward. One person close to both Gabbard and Butler would claim the words in the memos that focused on politics were not Butler's. SIF's president would decline to answer my questions, saying they were based on false premises. Gabbard's team, without addressing specifics, would attack my reporting as amplifying hostility against her Hindu faith. Has what we talked about at all attacked the Hindu faith or just attacked her reputation in Congress? And Salzburg history with SIF would be messier than it first appeared. But before all that occurred, I compared the content of the memos against Gabbard's record in the House, and I found unmistakable parallels. The main speaker in a 2014 memo pressed for her to propose legislation penalizing countries with citizens who had fought for the Islamic State and to issue a statement about it. Get started in the morning, the person said. You need to be the leader in this regard. Don't dick around. I found that Gabbard released a statement the following day. A week after that, she introduced a bill in the House. In October 12, 2015, memo labeled CNN Wolf Blitzer Talking Points Final contained this language about reports that she had been asked by Democratic leadership not to attend a presidential debate. Quote, "It's not a boo-hoo. I don't get to go to the party situation, Wolf. I dug up the clip of her appearance that day and found that she had used the line almost verbatim. Quote, the issue here is not about me saying boo-hoo. I'm going to miss the party." Hyperlink, facts, evidence. We love that. The limited remarks attributed to Gabbard in the memos appeared to show her enthusiastically embracing the guidance. TG, that's perfect. That line right there, said one transcript labeled Iraq Notes Call. A line attributed to TG and another transcript said that's a great way to put it. The documents, together with Salzburg's explanation of them, raised remarkable questions. Had a reclusive guru been secretly trying to steer Gabbard's actions as a public official? And could that shed light on the improbable arc traced by one of the most unconventional shapeshifters in modern American politics? Now, the reason I bring that up is just to say that somebody who was raised in a cult by their parents, somebody living in a cult, is going to be very, very, very susceptible to being a part of a cult in the future. Yeah, good luck in the midterms, Doom Scroll. How's those polls looking out for you? Yeah, you guys won primaries against other Republicans. Again, Doom Scroll, still waiting for what an auto pen is and what it does. You don't know? You need to Google it? This is the deep state MAGA I was talking about. Yeah, that's fair. This is being lobbied. But again, all I'm saying is that somebody who was raised in a cult could absolutely and will absolutely be susceptible to further cult-like behavior, similarly to how Donald Trump probably talks to her and treats her. It's going to put her in a mode of remembering that. Now, she is leaving. We talked about that. She's leaving, according to her, because her husband is fighting cancer. And that's why she's leaving. Now, there's talk that it's because Donald Trump would like Bill Pulte in there as acting, and that probably he would like to appoint him so that he can look at festival stuff. Okay. They look good. How about that VRA ruling? Yeah, the VRA ruling is completely separate. Show me a poll. You said they look good because I asked you about polls specifically, Doom Scroll. So again, not only do you need to find me or tell me what an auto pen is and what it does, and show me where Donald Trump has not used it. You think he signed all 1,500 pardons for Jan 6ers himself? 1, find that. 2, now you need to find me a poll that shows Republicans doing well in the midterms. Can you show me that? Bet you can't. Democrat to progressive darling Bernie Sanders, ally and presidential hopeful, and then to Fox News contributor, MAGA Republican, and eventually Trump's top intelligence official, a role that granted her access to some of the nation's most sensitive secrets. If Butler was guiding Gabbard's political career, the two of them had kept it under wraps. Butler, 78, once reportedly said that he did not tell Gabbard how to vote in Congress. For politicians, he told The New Yorker in 2017, taking a position on an issue is something that every individual has to deal with on their own. Gabbard, 45, was asked by one of my Washington Post colleagues in 2019 whether Butler had mentored her politically. Her answer was emphatic, no, not at all. Either way, I thought the document suggested that someone had been telling Gabbard what to do, and at least in the few cases I had looked at, she appeared to have done it. By the time Salzburg first contacted me, I had dug up old newspaper articles showing that Butler's interest in politics long predated the founding of SIF. The son of a radical left-wing physician, Butler began teaching Christianism and meditation after dropping out of the University of Hawaii in the late 1960s. Tall, lean, and charismatic, he attracted devoted followers who believed that he was in direct communication with Krishna. In 1970, two devotees told a reporter for the Honolulu Advertiser that they would do anything Butler asked, including unalive themselves. I found Butler had said in a 1975 pamphlet that, quote, inept politicians should be removed from their seats. He suggested they be replaced with by what he called saintly persons. The following year, a new political party, Independence for Godly Government, sprung up in Hawaii with 14 candidates for federal, state, and local offices, records show. IGG claimed to be non-sectarian. None of the IGG candidates won their elections afterward. An investigation by the Advertiser concluded that several were Butler followers and all were Krishna devotees. When asked by the newspaper why he and the others kept quiet about the Krishna connection, one candidate, Bill Pennarosa, reportedly said it was a practical problem. Most people would misunderstand it. It's not clear from Advertiser stories how or whether Butler responded to the newspaper's findings. In 1977, Butler formally incorporated his own organization and eventually settled on the SIF name. His teachings belonged to no political tribe. He inveighed against Muslims, homosexuality, gun control in public schools, but also promoted environmentalism and anti-capitalism. Doomscroll, he said, y'all had this confidence when y'all got your ass whooped in 2024. We didn't, though. He only won by 1.5%. We didn't. It's cute, though. And if we got our ass whooped, how come this has been one of the most feckless Congresses that we've had in the history of our country, Doomscroll? It sounds like you're coping instead of giving me, again, two separate things I've asked you. You don't seem to be able to follow directions very well. Give me what an auto pen is and what it does, and give me a poll saying that Republicans are going to do well in the midterms. I'm waiting. Among Butler's disciples were Mike and Carol Gabbard, who moved to Hawaii in the early 1980s with their children, including young Tulsi. Mike Gabbard, for a time, also oversaw Butler's personal affairs until he was fired for lapses that included failing to ensure a supply of fresh mangoes for Butler's breakfasts, according to an internal SIF memo. In the early 1900s, the Gabbards stepped into the political spotlight with SIF's backing. The family launched a forceful campaign against same-sex marriage in Hawaii and included a TV ad that featured Tulsi, then a teenager, and that warned legalization would lead to people marrying their dogs. Tulsi later declared her support for same-sex marriage and apologized for her past stance. To win an election, maybe. No scruples, maybe. Carol Gabbard, who has described herself as Hindu, was elected to the Hawaii State Education Board in a nonpartisan contest in 2000. She acknowledged on an ethics form that she served as SIF secretary, but neither she nor her husband has said much publicly about their association with the group. Mike Gabbard, who has said he is Catholic, ran for a seat in the state Senate as a Republican 6 years later and then defected to the Democratic Party once in office. Tulsi Gabbard, meanwhile, was elected to the state legislature in 2002. She then deployed to Iraq with the Army National Guard, and after a short stint on the Honolulu City Council, was elected to the House in 2012. She took the oath of office on the Bhagavad Gita and has said she was proud to be the first Hindu-American member of Congress. Good for her. She should be proud of that. Eager to learn more about Butler and his political ambitions, I tried to reach the guru and his devotees by phone. For weeks, no SIF representative acknowledged my calls or emails, let alone returned them. Over Thanksgiving 2024, my post colleague Kate Brown and I traveled to Kailua. Excuse me if I pronounce that incorrectly. A beach town on the eastern shore of Oahu. Among our first stops was a 3-bedroom house that a former SIF member had identified as one of several where Butler lived. Before long, a Honolulu police car pulled up and an officer asked us to leave. Someone in the house had complained, I later learned. I also drove to the home of Kanoia Pennarosa, a former Gabbard chief of staff and former SIF member, say a Butler devotee. He is also the son of the 1976 IGG candidate, Bill Pennarosa, who we just talked about. A family member answered the door and said Pennarosa wasn't home. Later that day, Pennarosa posted images of me from his doorbell camera to X. Pennarosa wrote that I had flown to Hawaii to harass and stalk former Gabbard staffers. This is creepy, wrong, and disturbing, he wrote. Gabbard's account reposted Pennarosa's tweet to her. More than 3 million followers. Trump's War Room account shared it, too. See if Doom scrolls here. Let's see. You did. You're raging. Calm down, Demrat. Okay, so still no explanation of what a auto pen is and what it does. And still no poll that the Republicans are going to do well in the midterms. Cool. So I just bring this to say that, again, the people that he has appointed into his office, even though she's leaving, have a lot of issues. I'm going to post this in my outline if you would like to read the entire thing. I advise you that you should. It seems like she had a lot of influence from a cult that she was raised in to take the stances that she took. And for her to change, right? Everybody wondered how she went from this Democrat to a MAGA cult Republican. It obviously doesn't seem like it's that hard because she was inundated into a cult. So that's kind of where she is too. It's kind of where she is. Alrighty. I'll leave that there. But they want to go after Fauci. Sure. All right. Since we got no sources, since we got no callers because they know they can't come up because of sources, we're going to turn those phone lines off. And I'm going to say thank you so much to everybody. I appreciate it. We got to 158,000 likes, so not quite to the 200,000, but for a Monday, I will take it. Thank you guys so much for the support that you guys give me. I appreciate it. I hope everybody on YouTube, even if you're hate watching, gave me that thumbs up. I appreciate it. It signs the signature of the president. Duh. Joe ran circles around us. Sure. Have you seen anyone else shake with the Invisible Man? I don't know what any of that means, Brian Ford, but thank you. It signs the signature of the president. It's an exact replica. It's an exact signature. It's not just like they sign Joe Biden like you do when you sign your medical documents. It is the exact signature. He has to give the okay on those signatures to be given, just so we know. But again, did Donald Trump use the auto pen for the 1,500 or did he sign all of those individually? Just a question. Thank you guys for completing my goal today. I appreciate it. We worked on the gift gallery for the start of the week. That's not too bad. Not too bad to get 7 out of 15. We will continue to work on that this week. I have, again, stuff I hope to get to on health, on Chris Wright that we still haven't gotten to, on the OMB nom that we still have not gotten to, things we will get to this week. But the news keeps going. I'm sure there will be more on Iran that we need to talk about. Unfortunately for us, that's just the way it is. But I appreciate it. Let's see who is live. Twitch and YouTube most likely won't have anyone for you. Actually, I could send you to RTP. You guys could go to RTP. He's probably talking about this Tulsi Gabbard stuff as well, to be honest. Why is my main account not showing me who's live lately? That's really annoying. Okay. There. It's showing.
Swan's live, I saw.
Huh?
Swan.
She's not showing up for me anymore. Oh. I think she's on with Solid, maybe. We might raid Twista, but let me send them. I'll just send them to RTP. You guys can go have fun with him. You think that I'm mean. You can put up with RTP. Okay. Start the raid there. I'm going to send YouTube and Twitch. Thank you guys so much for today. I hope I see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, whatever time that is for you. Come back with sources next time. Doom scroll. Try that. Okay? Okay.